Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Total Nonstop Racing League for tonight's Bagcraft Grand National Series race from the Nashville Fairgrounds. I am Peter Short, and alongside for tonight's Race Your Face Off 156, Bob. Hopefully, we still have a face here on our head by the end of the race, but some of these competitors might not here tonight at the Nashville Fairgrounds, as things tend to get heated on the short tracks.
That is for sure, Peter. This is one of those tracks where it is so tough to get around. The surface is not smooth, especially on entry and exit of each of these corners. So this is one of those races where these drivers need to have good car control in order to keep the front end of that car still attached by the end of tonight's race.
There is a fast man in practice, just about 2.5 minutes left for Mike Floppy Tellier in the Flat Out Racing Network, number 97, whipping his way around the racetrack. He's been fast here before, Bob, in that number 97. I think he might have even sat on the pole here previously in the Total Nonstop Racing League in one of the races that we have broadcasted, but he's had a difficult time backing that speed into results, having problems, and again having problems as he hits the inside wall here in practice.
Yeah, that's for sure, Peter. I mean, just looking at the point standings right now for Mike Tellier, just a brief look at it, I believe he is outside of, he's actually currently in third right now. 6 starts, 2 of which were top 5s, 4 top 10s. So, you know, he's consistent enough, but it's one of those things where he has to have that speed to back up finishing well here at Nashville, because he's just kind of had some pretty tough luck overall here at the fairgrounds, and hopefully for him tonight's going to be one of those easy nights out there on the track.
One we'll keep an eye on. Folks, it's been a while since we were last here on 3 Wide TV. We've had some severe weather here in the state of Texas the last couple of Mondays. My mother and my brother-in-law both almost got hit by a tornado last Monday night, and that kind of had the family all shaken up, and we had some severe weather where I am at in the state of Texas as well. So we do apologize that it's been a couple of weeks since we last were on 3 Wide TV. Hopefully you were able to catch the backup stream that we had last week for you back at Kansas. But Bob, you go back to the Polyhedral Cathedral 169 at Talladega Superspeedway a couple of weeks back, and of course the Polyhedral Cathedral 125 last week at Kansas. JT Poole and JD Laird, the 2 drivers that we've had our eyes on all season long, winning those 2 races. Could we see another one of those drivers in victory lane tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. And, you know, JT Poole has looked strong here tonight. Currently the 4th fastest lap time up on the board. Only 3 100ths off of Mike Floppy Tellier. So JT always a threat out there. Same with JD Laird. JD finally got the monkey off of his back last week, getting the win at Kansas after just having some of the worst luck I think I've ever seen, where he's running up front consistently but gets taken out in one way or another, and just some bad luck. So a good run last week for JD Laird. Hopefully he'll be able to back things up again tonight here at Nashville.
A couple of drivers still out there on the racetrack. There's Ben Izenga as the clock hits 0. We'll move over into the qualifying round here in just a brief moment, as these drivers will immediately disappear from the racetrack. But Ben Izenga sitting 5th in the practice session just a moment ago. Checker flag is out. They now have 5 minutes to go out there and get that lap time in. Let's see if we can check out the number 50, Bill Edwards. Bob, tonight is the Race Your Face Off 169, presented by Silent Syndicate Racing, S2R as they are known. There is the S2R logo on the rear bumper of the number 50 machine. And Bill, you're my boy, Blue, down there at the bottom of your screen, trying to get those tires warmed up. Let's see if we can go for a lap around this joint, Bob. It's not an easy one. It is an old racetrack, a lot of uniqueness to this racetrack, a lot of bumps as well, as you can see that on board the number 50.
That's for sure. Driving down here into turn number 1, you have to be hard on the brakes. You have to be mindful of your brake bias. You don't want to have too much rear brake where the back end wants to snap you around, but also don't want too much front brake where you just can't make the corner. And down low, below that first section of dotted lines that you see him cross right there, that is, it's hard to get around there. That is very bumpy pavement down there, and hard to keep your car situated as you see him just bouncing through the corner as he makes his way down the backstretch there.
So Bill Edwards puts his number 50 Silent Syndicate Racing machine currently into second. As I say that, drops down to third. Jason Graphix now up into second. Jason Freeman, there is Jason Freeman, currently fastest of all in his number 20 machine right there, the Mason-Dixon Racing car. But as I say that, Bill Edwards jumps to the top of the board on lap number 2, still holding provisional pole right now in the S2R machine. So it could be a big night here in the Race Your Face Off 169 presented by Silent Syndicate Racing. We'll see if that lap can hold up, because there's some heavy hitters out there on the racetrack, including this man right here, the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast with Jimbo, number 12, John Canizaro Jr., coming out of turn number 4, Bob.
Yeah, Canizaro had a great run last week early at Kansas, up front for most of the race. Unfortunately, got kind of mired back after green flag pit stops and pit cycles, kind of caught him back a lap down. And with no cautions last week, aside from the stage breaks, John was just kind of mired back about mid-pack there, around 10th to 14th pretty much from that point on. So hopefully John will have a little bit of a better race this time, as he says, all right, I did my 2 laps. Now I'm just going to back it down here on the back straightaway.
John Eckhart, the 4th in the Klondike Chevy Camaro, whipping his way out of turn number 2, currently sitting 8th on the board, about 3.5 tenths off the current pole time. We'll see if he can pick it up on his second lap. Surprisingly, these drivers are picking it up on lap number 2, or some of them are, not for John. John about a tenth slower on his second lap there. Currently got Kevin Stone out there on the racetrack. There is the Famucci wear number 14 blasting his way off towards turn number 3. Hard to miss that number 14 this week. Good looking paint scheme as he heads onto the front stretch, coming to the line. And he will not, will improve on lap number 2, goes 7th on the board, drops Dave Harvey, winner from earlier this season, down to the 9th position as Brady Todd has emerged from pit lane, coming to the start-finish line to begin his qualifying lap time. Still about 1:40 left. Still time for one of these drivers to knock Bill Edwards off the pole. Bill ran that lap time, a 19.08, just a hundredth of a second faster but from Jason Freeman, as Brady Todd has an issue there in turn number 3 and 4. That is going to ruin his lap here. JT Poole, on the other hand, the number 26 machine, been fast all season long, running the high line through turn number 1 and 2. Hopefully we get to see a little bit of multi-groove action here tonight, as this racetrack has a little bit extra banking up there, one of the earlier progressive banking racetracks. The 26 of JT Poole completes his first lap time. Only goes 13th, though. That's a bit of a surprise here, Bob. I'm going to have to try and find about a half second on lap number 2.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to get something different here coming into this. He gets all of it there on the lower line. Watch him bump there. You have to be really careful getting on the throttle coming out of turn number 4 as he goes purple there in that half of the lap. And we'll see JT go up to the top of the leaderboard there with a 19.038 second lap.
He found that half second. We said he had to find a half second. He more than found it, going top of the board by about a half a tenth of a second, as James Sorello almost found the tires there on the inside of the racetrack. Currently, the track, though, sits silent. No one out there. Kyle Zimmer, Stephen Doziak Jr., J.D. Laird, Keith Carbaugh, and Garrett Gleason. 5 drivers yet to turn a lap time here. None of them out there on the racetrack. So it does look like JT Poole, with that late lap here, Bob, going to be starting on the pole, trying to pick up where he left off 2 weeks ago at Talladega, where he ended up in victory lane.
Yeah, definitely. And he had one heck of a qualifying run last week as well. Actually, pardon me, 2 weeks ago, like you had mentioned, there at Talladega. Had a good run going for him last week at Kansas. So hopefully he's able to keep that momentum going here as, well, that'll do it for our qualifying session.
JT Poole on the pole. Bill Edwards and the Silent Syndicate Racing Machine. Of course, it is the Race Your Face Off 156. I think I said 169. It's 156. I'm getting ahead of myself, adding 100 to a nice number. But Bill Edwards will be rolling off on the outside pole. Jason Freeman on the inside of row number 3. And in fact, it's all Jasons on row number 2, with Jason Graphix making up the outside in 4th. Tristan Maher, John Canizaro Jr., 5th and 6th. Mike Floppy Tellier, who has put in some really good qualifying lap times here, fastest in practice, will roll off in 7th. Kevin Stone on his outside in 8th. Jamar Dumas and David Harvey, who had that win earlier this season at the Bristol Motor Speedway and was the points leader at the time, he'll be rolling off from the 10th position, Bob.
In P11, John Eckhart IV in the 45 machine. On his outside, the 13 of James Lorello, also on Silent Syndicate Racing. Jamar Dumas and David Harvey I'm looking at the wrong part of this. Vinny Valvano there on in 13th, and Brady Todd there in row number 7th on the outside in 14. In row number 8, Ben Izinga in the 07, then J.D. Laird on his outside did not put a qualifying time in. Kyle Zimmer, Stephen Dosiak Jr. in there in row 9. And in row 10, the 7 of Garrett Gleason and Keith Carball.
So that's going to do it. 20 drivers here tonight at Nashville Fairgrounds. We'll let these drivers get up to speed, get those tires warmed up. Looks like JT Poole going to be starting on the outside here tonight. Going to choose that outside line for the initial start. Not sure if you can do that here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Sometimes leagues won't let you do that on the initial start of the race, but JT thinks that you can. So we'll see whether or not the officials allow that to slide, but the green flag will be waving in one lap from now. But I think the stage breaks tonight, if I remember correctly, Bob, lap 25 and lap number 65, but that's coming from memory, so maybe you have the exact numbers in hand.
Nope, that is absolutely correct. End of lap 25 and the end of lap 65. Once P8 crosses the line on both of those laps is when the yellow flag will be thrown. So, that's one of those things, Peter, where that strategy could come into play. It came into play last week at Kansas, where the only yellows out there in the race were for the stages. Hopefully we get to see something like that again and, keep these guys under green flag conditions.
Yeah, it looks like we will go one extra pace lap, so a bit of a surprise there that we'll get one additional lap here under the caution flag before the start of the race. But a beautiful racetrack, Bob, a great addition to the iRacing service here not all too long ago. iRacing added it, and it's been a racetrack that has kind of had a famed storybook over the years. Of course, hasn't been up in the NASCAR top flight for quite a long time, but hopefully we can bring a race back to the Nashville Fairgrounds. That would be absolutely wonderful as they look to reconfigure the grandstands and get this place back where it should be. Always puts on a good show here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Green flag about to fly. Pace car is off, and we're racing for the race here face-off. No, there we are. Man, that was a late green flag by the flagman. Not sure of the flagman's name, but the green flag is out. If you're in the chat and you have the 3-wide TV custom emote, that green flag, let's see it, as we got some good side-by-side racing as JT Poole gets ahead of Bill Edwards, but here comes Jason Freeman and Jason Gracias, the row of Jasons here, Bob, battling it out for third.
Yeah, the Jason and Jason show going on full steam ahead here as they drive off into turn number 1. Nice side-by-side battle there. A couple of car lengths back there between John Cannizzaro and the 14 of Kevin Stone. Cannizzaro is going to get the better of Stone as they head off through turns number 3 and 4. And for the most part, getting single file here early, and everyone just kind of feeling out the car, seeing exactly what they need to do, and just kind of keeping their head down. 156 laps here at Nashville is going to be a long race, so you can't win it on the first lap, so you just got to make sure you're in position to win it on the last lap.
And of course, with the stage break on lap number 25, no real need to push it that hard this early. In fact, when you think about it, Bob, even the second stage is still in the first half of the race. So kind of a short second run there, a short first run in the first and second stages, and we'll have a little bit of a longer run to the checkered flag. Will be fun to watch that all settles out. We got the Windsors in the chat here tonight. Garrett Gleason stopped by and said hello. The Windsors, of course, always rooting on Bill Edwards, currently running in the second position, about a half second back. Ooh, Brady Todd there going below the apron, had to glide up the racetrack right in front of Ben Izinga. That might have been a little bit of a contact between those two. Not sure if they made contact or not there, Bob, but surely it looked like Izinga had to check up. Now here comes Kyle Zimmer to the outside of John Eckhart, the fourth. That is a battle for the 14th position, as the Sinorama of Hollandale, number 51, zips around the outside. Not sure if that's Hollandale or Hollywood. Either way, that is Sinorama coming out of the southeast Florida. If you're in the greater Miami area, go check out Sinorama of Hollandale or Sinorama of Hollywood for all your custom signing needs. Kyle Zimmer slots into the 14th position. But I'm not seeing a lot of side-by-side action out there on the racetrack right now. This is probably the only side-by-side action is Brady Todd and Ben Izenga. They're back to side-by-side on one another. The 07, the Canadian driver there on the inside. Bob trying to get a little bit of grip down there. It's hard to pass down there because it's just a little bit flatter on the racetrack. As man, they're really pushing it hard here early on.
Yeah, I was just about to say that they're giving each other plenty of room going through the corner, and then something like that happens. But yeah, Peter, down low, you don't really have that much room and that much grip, pardon me, banking to make that pass. So it's always harder to get down on the inside here at this track. The outside and the groove kind of moves its way up as the run goes. So, you know, it's going to be tough as the race goes on to see, okay, how is my car handling in these different lanes? And you kind of just have to go at it one lap at a time.
Number 17, Tristan Thuggy Maher just smacked the wall, I think, about a lap ago. It looked like a significant amount of damage on the right side of the number 17. Meanwhile, side-by-side battle in front of them. Mike Floppy Tellier looking to the inside of Kevin Stone and his Fanucci, where number 14 got the Ford of Stone battling with the Toyota Supra of Tellier. Meanwhile, in front of them, more side-by-side action. John Cannizzaro Jr. side-by-side with Jason Freeman. Jason Gracias has been able to slot his way up into third as Tellier dove it down into turn number 3. And Bob, there was almost contact between the 97 and the 20.
And Floppy thought about sticking his nose right under there, could not quite make the move work. And unfortunately for that, he's going to fall right into the clutches of the 14 of Kevin Stone. Now they're side-by-side, diving off into turn number 3 here, and Tellier is going to slide up just a little bit, not quite clear, does finally clear him, and he'll slot back in line.
Meanwhile, we're not talking about our front two. Our front two have checked out here, Bob. We're looking out back of your race leader right now. This is JT Poole in the number 26 machine, looking back at the nose of Bill Edwards. And JT looking really racy. He has this Bill Edwards here in the early going, but a 2+ second gap back to the number 1 of Jason Gracias, a former series champion. There is Jason leading the small group back behind him. There's about a 1.5-second gap back to John Cannizzaro, who now resides in 4th, and Tellier in 5th. And of course, points on the line here, Bob. You want to be in the top 8 drivers at the end of this first stage here in about 10 laps from now.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be one of those top 8 drivers. You get some all-important bonus points for winning the stage. You get 8, second place 7, and so on, where 8th place gets 1. And, you know, at the end of the year, that 1 point may be the difference between, you know, 1st and 2nd place in the point standing. So every single one of these points is going to be crucial, as the 17 of Tristan Thuggy Maher might have gotten into the wall. If not, he was incredibly close coming out of the corner there, Peter.
Good battle here between James Lorello. Lorello started this race in 12th, is now riding in 8th. So good start for the Sound Syndicate Racing Machine. Meanwhile, Mike Tellier and the number 97 has a look to the inside of John Cannizzaro. Stay Tuned Sports Podcast with Jimbo Ford Mustang. This is a good battle. Tellier battling for 4th. And oh no! I look away for a second and he's in the inside wall. This is exactly what we talked about in practice, Bob. That Tellier has had some great speed at this racetrack, but just doesn't ever seem to be able to put it together, spinning to the inside wall. Let's see what happened to bring out the first caution flag of the night.
Yeah, it looks like Floppy going here down to the inside of John Cannizzaro, and their side-by-side doesn't look like too much or any contact really, and then, oh yeah, just kind of slid up into the 12 and bounced off and then caught the inside wall there.
Let's get another look at that. Let's see if we can get maybe a look from a little bit better camera angle. See if we can dissect this one a little bit. There was definitely a little bit of contact. It happened really late. We'll put it into 3-wide TV slow motion here. 97's coming up. The 12 might be coming down a little bit. And 2 race cars meeting together, giving each other a big kiss there on the front stretch. Unfortunately for Tellier, he gets a good taste of concrete on the inside wall. Maybe finding some Big Machine vodka down there to ease his pain. But that 97 Flat Out Racing Network 97, I won't say it's flat out anymore.
Yeah, the only thing flat out about the car is probably that left front fender there. Just really hard impact into the wall. Hard enough actually to get those rear tires up and off of the ground. So that'll be interesting to see if he can recover from that and see exactly what he can do, as this race goes on.
And speaking of interesting, different strategies on pit lane, Bob. Bill Edwards is your race leader. He stayed out under this caution flag. In fact, your top 9 drivers all stayed out. So Edwards, Graphix, Freeman, Stone, Lorello, Maher, Izenga, Zimmer, and Tellier all stayed out under this caution flag. JT Poole, who was your race leader, down in the 10th position now, came down pit road, did not take any tires, however, just elected to come down for fuel only. So interesting call by the 26. He just lost a lot of track position. But Bob, we know he's very, very quick.
Yeah, and not only is he very quick, he knows that the stage break is coming up soon. And, I don't know if this is going to count as the stage break. I would have to assume it would be, seeing as though we're on lap 23 right now. And the end of lap 25 will be the end of the stage. But, this is going to be interesting here to see, okay, if that wasn't the stage break, I think JT might have just had the best opportunity there to come down, maybe forget about the stage points. You might just have to pass a couple of guys ahead of you. You have fresher tires, maybe grab a stage point here and there, and, you have track position after the stage caution. But we'll see here as the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road.
Yeah, just checking out the chat to see if we had anyone in there, if anyone had anything to say, whether or not that was the stage caution or not. I think we will have a 2-lap shootout here as Bill Edwards scoots away up at the front of the field, trying to pick up those 8 bonus points for leading the race at lap number 25. Coming around now to complete lap number 24, Jason Gracias in second, Jason Freeman in third. James Horrello, biggest mover of the race so far. He's plus 8 positions. He's up into fourth as he's made that move on Kevin Stone. Good job there by Lorello to clear that. Number 14 coming down the backstretch. Ben Izenga as well, big mover of the race. Now plus 10 for the 07. But looks like the 50, Bill Edwards comes around to complete lap number 25. Now the big question is, was that the stage caution? No caution has come out, so I would think there, Bob, that you were right. That was the stage caution that we had a couple of laps ago. So those points will have gone to JT Poole, which is probably the reason he came down pit road. But now he's mired back in the 8th position. It's made up a little bit of ground. Restarted in 10th, now back up to 8th. But he's got some fast race cars to pass in front of him.
Yeah, he's got some very fast guys in front of him, especially that number 14 there of Kevin Stone directly in front of him. A little bit further back in the field, we see the 55 of Steven Dosiak. He's going to look to the inside of Brady Todd. Can't quite get the drive up off of the corner. And, Dose has got a really good-looking hot rod out there as we see another side-by-side battle. Oh, man, the 14 of Kevin Stone got a little squirrely there in front of the 26 of JT Poole.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a bucking bronco. I know, Texas is the place for rodeos, but I think they have them up in Nashville as well. And that was a Famucci Ware bucking bronco there down the backstretch. This time looking a little bit more smooth, but he does have the number 26 of JT Poole, who's so far led the most laps here tonight. Right underneath him, John Cannizzaro now tucked up behind Kevin Stone, who makes the pass. Now, Mike Floppy Tellier has connection issues there on John Cannizzaro's Stay Tuned Sports number 12 machine. And Kyle Zimmer wants to play in the number 51 Sinorama Ford Mustang, the bright red machine back there. This is a good gaggle of drivers on the back half of the top 10. Now here comes Cannizzaro on the high side. What a power move out of the 12.
Yeah, great move there by Cannizzaro. Said, you know what, excuse me, pardon me, I'm coming through. And wow, look at that launch he got coming off of the corner. The 14 of Kevin Stone might have had to check up a bit. And now here comes Tellier down to his inside.
A good move there by the Flat Out Racing Network 97, trying to make up for his shortcoming a little while ago after that contact that we had on the front straight. In fact, with the car that's right in front of him, the number 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. Meanwhile, towards the front, Jason Freeman slotting into third, right in front of the number 13 of James Lorello, but Lorello breathing down the back of the Mason-Dixon Racing number 20 that you see right there. Bill Edwards able to scoot away just a little bit up at the front of the field as we close in here, Bob, on the second stage caution, which will come out around lap number 65. That's at least when we expect to see it. But so far, only one caution in the opening 35 laps. That's probably the kiss of death. We're probably going to have just a flurry of cautions now that I've said that. But it's been good racing, good side-by-side, some give and take. These drivers leaving each other space, but there's still a long way left to go in this one here tonight. If you're in the chat with us here tonight on 3 Wide TV, let us know. We'd appreciate having some conversations with those people hanging out with us here tonight. The Edwards, how's it going? What's for dinner? I know many people probably munching on some food while watching the 3 Wide TV Total Nonstop Racing Race Your Face Off 156 here, presented by Silent Syndicate Racing, S2R. Big shout out to them, as well as our other series sponsors. Bob, I don't know if you've checked out backcraftcornhole.com. Hopefully you have, and hopefully everyone in the chat has. But some really, really cool shirts, especially if you're into cornhole, that you can get. Of course, the series sponsors, you have to treat them well. You have to go buy their merchandise, because they are the people who make this possible for these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got some really, really cool merch up there on the Bagcraft website. And, a lot of great supporting sponsors here at Total Nonstop Racing. Our friends at Sinorama have been huge helps as well, as we saw there. Kyle Zimmer. Now a good battle here between the Bagcraft Ford of Tristan Thuggy Maher fighting up against the 07 of Ben Izinga, the 17 and the 07, duking it out here in Nashville.
And Ben Izinga got loose there coming out of the corner, and they lost that spot to Thuggy Maher, now losing a spot to John Canizaro Jr., now falling into the clutches of the pole sitter JT Poole. JT, who, remember, went down pit road a little while ago under our one and only caution flag that we've had here tonight, and JT has not been able to pick up as much ground as I was expecting him to. This Bob, he kind of shot out of the gate really, really quickly, gained 2 positions, I think, on the opening lap of the second stage, but since that, he's stuck around in that 8th spot, now battling with Izinga. Meanwhile, John Canizaro Jr. and Tristan Thuggy Maher going toe-to-toe in turns number 1 and 2. Looks like Canizaro will complete that pass, move him back into the top 5. We'll try and run down James Arello in front of him. But up at the front, things starting to get a little bit interesting as we're hearing caution, caution, caution. And I was just about to say, I'm hearing that something has happened to Kyle Zimmer, and second caution flag of the night has come out. Let's see what happened to the Sinorama number 51 here.
Yeah, let's see here. You saw the 14 and the 55 duking it out into turns 1 and 2. Got down low, clipped the apron just a little bit, and yeah, just kind of a little bit sideways. And luckily for him, he was able to save it and keep the car out of the wall, and no harm, no foul, and he's able to get rolling again.
So we'll get one more look at what happened to the Sinorama number 51 machine. Yeah, he definitely clipped that apron. Bob, watch him right there. Hits that yellow line. It unnerves the car, and back end comes around. Like you said, able to keep it off the inside wall. That's good driving there by Kyle Zimmer to just kind of lock it down and keep things kind of moving. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, we've had mixed strategy calls again. Jason Freeman this time, Bob, staying out in the number 20. Number 13 of James Arello staying out. In fact, the front 2 drivers have not pitted yet here tonight. John Canizaro Jr. in 3rd, however, he came down under the first caution flag. JT Poole going to be in 4th for this upcoming restart. Stephen Doziak Jr., Jamar Dumas, John Eckhart the 4th, David Harvey, Keith Carball, rounding out your top 9. And then you have drivers like this one right here. That is Bill Edwards. Just came down pit road, put on a fresh set of tires as well in the Silent Syndicate Racing number 50. And Bob, we're about 20 laps away right now from the end of stage number 2 when we'll pay out those stage points. This is an interesting call by Bill Edwards. I don't know if I like this call personally. We'll have to see how it all plays out. But he put on a fresh set of tires on his Chevy Camaro, so that is his first set of tires that he's used here tonight, and we're just about at the 1/3 race distance.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you do get 4 sets of tires, 3 in the pits, 1 on your car to start the race. But, you know, maybe it's a little bit too soon. You only get the 3 new sets of tires in the pits. A third of the way in, I guess if you plan on making it 2 stops, but I don't know. I personally, if I'm up front contending for the win, I'd like to have that extra set of tires in the pits in case we do wind up getting some kind of green-white checkered or a shorter run to the end. We saw some of those fresher tires were working out fairly well for a couple of those drivers who came down under the first yellow, so I'm interested to see how this one works out for him.
I'm interested to see how it will work out for him as well. The Windsors in the chat letting us know that they had pancakes and fruit for dinner. That sounds absolutely delightful. Green flag back in the air here at Nashville Fairgrounds. How about some Nashville hot chicken? How about some of that for dinner? As the number 20 of Jason Freeman says, hey, you know what? I want some Nashville hot chicken. He's going to try and race off to the nearest Nashville hot chicken place that he can find on the racetrack. Meanwhile, John Cannizzaro Jr. slotted into second for the first time here tonight in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast number 12. I do think that Cannizzaro Jr. might have put on a fresh set of tires under the first caution flag that we had. Not exactly sure of that, but he's looked really, really good in that Ford Mustang, trying to run down Jason Freeman in front of him. You can see him cuts right down to the bottom side of the racetrack, but we have a caution flag number 3 here tonight, Bob.
Yeah, it looks like the one of Jason Gracias got a little bit squirrely down the back straightaway. Not sure if he had any help or anything along those lines, but we'll see here as he's just high coming off the corner, cuts down low, and oh man, looked like the 28 of Jamar Dumas might have caught the wall, caused a bit of a traffic jam, and unfortunately the one was just an innocent victim there.
Now let's see if we can see exactly what happened here from high atop the 3-wide TV blimp cam as we will slow this down. Yeah, there's 14 and the 28 get together up in front. Dumas catches the wall, and Harvey gets run over by Ben Izenga. Harvey kind of ends up being a ping pong ball. Good job there by Harvey and Kyle Zimmer to keep things going straight, but unfortunately it was collateral damage at the back for the one of Gracias and the 07 of Ben Izenga. Both of those drivers getting kind of the bad end of the stick. We'll see if we can get another look maybe and go maybe a little bit further ahead. See if we can see what happened here to kind of Kevin Stone in the number 14, or was it the, yeah, let's see, was it one of them hit the wall coming out of the corner? I don't know. Kevin Stone maybe came up a little bit. Jamar Dumas was there, and that's the end of that 3-wide TV camera. We'll have to put a new one there next time by. Look at Harvey in that pink number 77 back there trying to save it. Some good action shots there on the backstretch. Unfortunately, some of these drivers pretty tore up. But it is a short track, Bob. That's the good news. A short track, you don't need a lot of aero. So maybe some of these drivers will be able to get back up to speed and close in on the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be a really interesting view here to see what Gracias saw. He cuts down low, and yeah, really nothing. It all just kind of happened in front of him there. He was getting a good run coming out of the corner, starting high and diving down low to get that good launch down the back straightaway. And unfortunately for him, in front of him, you know, the wreck was a couple cars in front of him, so just couldn't quite see anything happening there. And again, just a couple of cars checked up, and the rest is history.
Some good onboard shots. Let's see if we can get maybe one more onboard shot from Jamar Dumas, see what he had to see on the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast number 28. Coming out of the corner right here, and maybe a little bit of net code there, maybe just a little bit of rubbing, but he's able to get away without a whole lot of damage. It just kind of snowballed back behind him to bring out our third caution flag of the night. Meanwhile, right now, we're going back live, and in fact, the green flag is already out. We'll just kind of catch up. We'll catch the replay of the restart, and then we'll catch back up live as John Cannizzaro Jr. led the field to the green flag. Let's jump back live now on board with John Cannizzaro Jr., who is your race leader. JT Poole now going to look to the inside, though. This is the battle for second between Lorello on the outside, who has yet to pit here tonight, and JT Poole to his inside.
Yeah, this run right here will be the story of whether or not how much tires are going to matter, as James Lorello, the only driver out there on the track now who has yet to pit. And before that caution, or as the caution came out, Jason Freeman was given a end-of-line penalty. Not entirely sure what that was about, but that's why John Cannizzaro is up front with James Lorello right now, and Freeman mired back in the pack, just entering turn 3 now. So this run here, Peter, is going to really tell how much those fresh tires make a difference between, 30, 40 lap old tires.
Yeah, Lorello is sliding backwards. You want to make mention that J.D. Laird, the number 46 machine, has retired. I was also going to say Ben Izenga has not yet retired, but multiple laps down after that incident. Currently, Izenga is in the lucky dog spot, but he's going to need a lot of lucky dogs to get his way back up towards the front half of the field, as James Lorello sliding backwards, getting passed here by the number 17, Tristan Dougie Maher. Now here comes the number 51, who is inside. That is Kyle Zimmer in the Sinorama machine. So Lorello has dropped from the front car all the way back to 7th in a handful of laps. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, look who's worked his way back up to 2nd here, Bob. That is the Canadian driver, Mike Floppy Tellier, who was having some of that vodka, that concrete-flavored vodka on the front stretch not all too long ago. And now he's front of the field. Tellier leads here on lap number 59.
Oh, and as he takes the lead, looks like the yellow flag will come out here as there's melee on the backstretch. The 51 of Kyle Zimmer involved, Vinny Balvano involved. Oh, Zimmer, that's not what you want to do when you're getting your car pointed out the right way. The wall is a little bit hard there for your car. We'll see what happens here in the replay.
Kyle Zimmer, number 51, had that issue a little while ago where he clipped the apron and it unnerved the car, and, well, nothing's happening there. It happened really late on the straightaway there, Bob. And, oh, man, Vincent Valvano straight into the side of the 51. And then, oh, my goodness, Keith Carball, Garrett Gleason getting a chunk of the accident as well. Then unfortunately, the 51 hitting the wall again there. Probably had his wheel crossed up, didn't quite realize it. That's happened to me before. But unfortunately for Kyle Zimmer, this happened really late on the straightaway. Let's go on board here with Kyle Zimmer. Everything's going fine and dandy here. Look, he's coming off the racetrack, tracking right behind the number 17. Then all of a sudden, it just says, you know what? I'm going to go around. And when the race car does that, Bob, just nothing you can really do, unfortunately. And, oh, man, that's a heavy hit from Vincent Valvano there. And just a little bit of snowballing, probably a lot of rear brake in these cars, and they just didn't want to get slowed down in time back there. So tough break for a couple of drivers who have so far had some decent runs here tonight. Kyle Zimmer was pushing his way up there inside the top 10. But as things continue to cycle on through, the pit stop craziness continues as we had another group of drivers come down pit road, led by Tellier, made his second pit stop of the night. But that puts Bill Edwards back in the lead of this race. I can't figure out who's leading this race, Bob. Seems like every caution, we have new faces right up there at the front of the field.
Yeah, always just kind of, they always say cautions really like to reshuffle the deck, but normally it's probably about 5th place on back. But tonight, the entire field has been getting shuffled up, every single yellow. So it's tough to follow up, who's where, but we're going to do our best here on 3-Wide TV just to see exactly who's going to be out there on the lead lap A, but on the point and leading this race. So we're just closing in on, and presumably, Bob, this will be the stage caution. I didn't think about that, just to add a little bit of a caveat to it, because lap number 65 was when we expected to see the end of stage number 2, but this caution more than likely will be that. Ben Izenga in the 07, we think that he was the Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award winner under this caution, was the only driver one or more laps down, so the 07 will get one of those laps back. That is unfortunately no longer the case. Both Vincent Valvano and Kyle Zimmer both off the racetrack. But if Ben Izenga can stick this one out here, Bob, he actually will pass both Vinny and Zimmer here in just a little bit. So
maybe he'll get back in that lucky dog spot before he knows it. And of course, we do have the yearly standings of the luckiest lucky dog, brought to you by Polyhedral Cathedral. Winner of that at the end of the season with the most lucky dogs throughout the year will get an extra prize. But we're back green flag, and all eyes are on the prize here tonight as Bill Edwards slides off towards turn number 1, Bob.
Yeah, good jump there by Edwards, but look at that one machine missing his nose. Jason Gracias in P2. Looks like a couple cars just bouncing off of one another down the back straightaway. No harm, no fouls. Everyone keeps going. Here's, oh man, as I say that, the 14 gets sideways right in front of the field, and, well, everyone's involved here.
Everyone's stacking them up. Ben Izenga gets a piece of it. There goes his lucky dog, unfortunately. That happened right at the front of the field. I think there was a little bit of a tag there. It looked to me like the 97 of Tellier got into the back of Kevin Stone. There was a little bit of rubbing down the back stretch, like you mentioned there, Bob. Let's see if we can go look out back of the number 14 machine right here. Keep your eye on the number 97, and boop. There's the little boop. There's the spin. And watch how quickly this racetrack gets completely blocked. Good job there. Watch JT Poole there on the left-hand side of your screen. He waits for the track to clear, but back behind him, look at this hard-charging gaggle of drivers. Tellier gets a piece of it. Look at Poole. Great job there by the 26 machine to turn the front stretch into a slalom. He's just able to somehow squeak through it, but it is a logjam back there. Literal logjam on the front stretch.
Yeah, just an absolute track blocker. And I think the move of the race right there was that 7 of Garrett Gleason you saw in the background. G saw everything and said, you know what? I'm just going to park it here on the back straightaway and let them all wreck in front of me, and we'll get these things figured out. It's not like I can lose any more spots here under caution, but yeah, he just saw the melee happen and said, oh, all right, I'm just going to park it here on the start-finish line.
Yeah, good he did. I mean, look, some of the other cars didn't do that, and they got into other cars. So, good job there by Garrett Gleason. Let's see, though, if we can go back. I really want to get an onboard with JT Poole and see what JT Poole had to say in this whole accident, because watch him. There's the initial spin. He gets on the brake, 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 turns down the racetrack, and all of a sudden the racetrack clears up. That is some fantastic driving out of JT Poole. Similarly, some good racing out of Johnny Cannizzaro Jr. Look how many spots Cannizzaro made up out of this mess. He's down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Oh, well, I take that back, John. You suck. As he got into the back of Tristan Thuggy Maher. Guys, if you don't know, we give John Cannizzaro a lot of grief here on the channel. He takes it in stride. But unfortunately got into the back there, Tristan Thuggy Maher. But we're under the caution flag here, Bob. It is lap number 69, and now lap number 70. And looks like Kevin Stone coming down pit road. Hopefully not a whole lot of damage on the Fanucci Ware Ford Mustang. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look great, let's be honest, but doesn't look terrible as he works his way back up onto the racing surface. Currently, I think being scored 1 lap down. Brady Todd also being scored 1 lap down in the number 15. Nope. Yep. Being scored 1 lap down, I think. So we'll let that all get sorted out. See if we can get some more lucky dogs handed out. Don't think we had a single lucky dog under this caution because everyone was on pit road or got involved in the accident. But the green flag back in the air as the number 50 of Bill Edwards gets us down off into turn number 1 again.
And another fantastic jump there by the 50 of Bill Edwards. Took that high line advantage and was able to get a good run coming out of turn number 4 and launch himself down the front straightaway, side by side here, a little bit further back in the pack. 97 Mike Floppy Tellier looks to the inside of Jamar Dumas, able to make that move look easy. And here side by side, Jason Freeman, John Cannizzaro Jr. as they head off in out of turn number 2.
JT Poole doing a little bit of driving and listening to us here on 3 Wide TV. Just shot us a message in the chat saying how he missed that. He does not know. But speaking of JT Poole, he's going for the race lead here. Bob gets underneath Bill Edwards, the 26-year pole sitter here tonight. Back up to the front here as we're quickly closing in on the halfway mark. Now just 6 laps away from seeing the cross flags here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, 17-lap fresher tires will definitely give you a little bit of an advantage there. JT Poole 14 lap tires. The 50 of Bill Edwards has 31 lap tires. So, right there is that tire difference, and JT Poole looking to pull away from the 50 of Edwards.
Yeah, JT Poole already getting out to about a 0.6 of a second lead up at the front of the field. Turned his best lap of the entire race that last time by. Not the best lap overall. The best lap here tonight so far held by Bill Edwards in a 19.09. That is a very quick lap time. Would have put him up inside the top 5 in qualifying earlier in the show. But JT Poole knocking down fast laps as well now that he has clean air on the nose. We're looking at this group of drivers. They don't have clean air on the nose. Jason Freeman there in the Mason-Dixon Racing number 20 behind Mike Floppy Teller. Got Timmy's on the back of that Toyota Supra A right there in front, and need some of the Timmy's and some poutine to try and get his way around the racetrack. Maybe that will fix that right rear fender there. The Flat Out Racing Network machine is, Jason Freeman might have given him a little bit of a love tap. Freeman giving us a good view here out the front of his Chevy Camaro.
Man, this is a great view here if I'm Jason Freeman. As we say that, the 12 of John Cannizzaro, he's going to get a little squirrely. Looks like Teller got into him. And, the 20 of Jason Freeman, he got sideways coming out of turn 2, and he caught the inside wall. Garrett Gleason barely squeaking on by. Well, this is an interesting one. I was focusing on what happened to the number 12 machine. And I look up, and then the number 20's going spinning. So let's sort this out here. John Cannizzaro Jr. goes off into turn number 1, and looks like there was a little bit of a nudge. We might have to look at that one from the 3-wide TV blimp cam. And then keep your eyes on Jason Freeman here. He's like, you know what, I'm going to get underneath the spinning number 12 machine. Yeah, everything's good. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, caution's out. Because the caution's out at this point, and all of a sudden, back end comes around on that number 20, and he ends up in the inside wall, catching that pretty good look on that left-hand side. So it happens fast here at this racetrack. Jason Freeman, he's on pit road as we speak just now. Past the halfway mark. JT Poole, your race leader. Steven Doziak Jr. has worked his way up into second in the number 55 Toyota Supra. That's a little bit of another re-rack of the field under these caution flags. One thing we were going to go back and check those. We're going to see if we can get maybe a look from high atop the 3-wide TV blimp cam, see exactly what happened off in turn number 1. Here we go. This is a replay of what happened just a little while ago. Watch the number 12, the 97, and the 20. They head off towards turn number 1, and yeah, that number 97, you can see that that back end of Cannizzaro's number 12 get all crinkled in. Locked it down. Good job there by the field to all avoid him. I think Brady Todd, under this caution flag, is your Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award winner. So let's see if we can check in with him. Bob, he's on pit road right now, trying to stay on the lead lap, but give this one to Brady Todd. Yeah, good race there by Brady Todd so far. If I'm not mistaken, he is our series leader of the Polyhedral Cathedral Luckiest Dog Award winner. So I believe that was his 6th or 7th Lucky Dog of the season. So he's going to extend his lead just a little bit more here.
Yeah, I think you're right. He came in tonight with a 2 Lucky Dog lead over the next closest competitor in that. So I'm just looking at that. I'm pretty sure that is right. I think, not sure if the graphic has been updated. Yes, it has. So Brady Todd picks up his 6th Lucky Dog of the season. Keith Carball and James Lorello each with 3 apiece. Lorello is out of tonight's race after being involved in the accident just a little while ago that we had that big track blockage on the front straight. So Brady Todd continuing to extend that, and it's a really cool prize that Polyhedral Cathedral have put together for the luckiest Lucky Dog at the end of the season, Bob.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to get a really cool award, and that's one of the cool things that that Polyhedral Cathedral offers is some laser cut and near finished products, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons character sheet or other types of CNC milling and laser engraving and things like that. Polyhedral Cathedral can get it done, and I'm really excited to see how this award is going to turn out at the end of the year.
Meanwhile, back on the racetrack, we are back to green flag racing. JT Poole able to scoot away and watch the field race here onto the start-finish line. Stephen Doziak Jr., Jamar Dumas, our top three right now. Mike Floppy Tellier is riding in fourth. Fifth is David Harvey. Meanwhile, back behind them, Jason Gracias and Bill Edwards might be getting elbows out as they battle on the racetrack for the sixth position. John Cannizzaro going to try and take advantage on the high side. We just saw him spun around in the number 12 machine, that mustard yellow number 12 machine, as he dives now to the inside. Oh, Gracias shuts the door on exit, though. Good battle between these two drivers. Of course, Gracias, the former series champion, and John Cannizzaro, a driver who's always knocking on the door in his Ford Mustang of trying to win a championship. But coming into tonight in the point standings, Bob, John Cannizzaro is our points leader by 74 points over JT Poole. I mean, Cannizzaro, who, as we have been saying, needs to find some consistency, but so far this season doing well. Now, before we go too far, we do need to back this up one moment. Brady Todd, the leader of the Polyhedral Cathedral Luckiest Lucky Dog Award, something happened, lost power in the number 15, came to a halt here on the front stretch, and that is Day Dunn, or the number 15, will not continue to add to his tally. Brady Todd just pulled it off the racetrack a lap or two ago. Tough break for the driver who had just got himself back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, interesting there. I'm a little bit curious to see what exactly happened there for Brady Todd. I'm not seeing anything in the rundown here in the iRacing session, as you know, if there are any penalties or anything like that. But Brady Todd, unfortunately, just pulled it off, had to get towed back to pit road, and we stay green here with about 60 some odd laps to go.
Yeah, just over 60 laps left here in tonight's Race Your Face Off 156 presented by Silent Syndicate Racing. In fact, let's talk about Silent Syndicate Racing here tonight. They sponsored the race. Let's check in with their drivers, starting with the best performing here tonight. Bill Edwards in the number 50 Chevy Camaro has probably been the leader of S2R for the majority of the race, currently residing in the 7th position. Last pitted on lap number 79, came down and took on tires. Now racing with Jamar Dumas as Mike Floppy Tellier gets loose. Just a few drivers ahead. John Cannizzaro, Jason Gracias getting around that 97 as Edwards puts the move as Tellier again gets loose out of turn number 2. That's pretty typical from what we've seen from that number 97 here at this particular racetrack. Edwards and S2R putting them back inside the top 5. Meanwhile, his teammates are not having a good run of things. Ben Izenga in the 07. Probably a night that Ben wants to forget. Currently residing in the 15th position on the racetrack and is currently sitting 5 laps down. Will need quite a few caution flags to get himself back on to the lead lap in the WestJet 07, but nonetheless trying to stick it out to pick up as many spots as he can. His teammate James Arello, tough night for him. If we talk about a tough night for the 07, well, it's been worse for Lorello. Lorello finding himself about 17 and a half laps behind your race leader at this current junction. The number 13 machine is 17th after what was a fantastic start to the race here tonight, Bob. The number 13 picked up so many spots early on. I was expecting him to be one that we'd have to be watching for at the end, but it has not gone the way that Lorello had wanted.
Yeah, these last few races, save for Kansas, have been pretty tough for that 13 machine. Talladega was caught up in a wreck very early on, just kind of had to putter his way around the track for the rest of the night. And even a couple of races before that as well. Just some tough races, this season. Currently sitting P2 in the Lucky Dog Award standings as well. But take a look out front now. The 12, John Cannizzaro, looking to the inside of Steven Dosiak Jr. A couple of juniors doing battle down the front stretch.
Yeah, this is the battle for the second position. Jason Gracias there sitting in fourth, looking to get his way on by. Cannizzaro completes that pass on Doze, so move the 55 now back to third. Jason Gracias and one of the other Bagcraft machines now looking to the outside, trying to pick up third. And of course, Bill Edwards back there lurking as well. They are about 4 seconds behind your race leader, JT Poole, at the moment, who was really checked out since that last restart up at the front, turning some very respectable lap times last time by. Not quite as fast as John Cannizzaro Jr., but it's such a big gap between those two. It's going to take a little bit before Cannizzaro can run down JT Poole, as Bill Edwards now able to get on by up into the fourth position. No great races on the racetrack. This is probably the best one right now. This is the battle for third, as Bill Edwards is continuing to move his way back up through the field in the S2R machine. Gotta say, that is a I don't know, how would you describe the paint scheme on that number 50 machine, Bob? Noisy, vibrant, electric?
Pretty much all of the above. It looks very 80s, but also very future retro at the same time. A very loud paint scheme, but a really cool looking one as the yellow flag comes out here.
Yeah, caution flag. Unfortunately, it's for his Silent Syndicate Racing teammate Ben Izenga. We were just highlighting how his night has not been all too good. Already got a modified 07, got a little bit loose out of turn number 4, came off the nose of Tristan Thuggy Maher and into the inside wall. Luckily, they have a really big bumper bar down there, it appears, so you might be able to continue on. We'll get one more look at this from high atop the blimp cam. At least from the first angle, it looked like Izenga got loose. We'll see here if that's true or not. Yeah, it looks like it. And unfortunately, the 17 and the 77 also had a coming together there, as Izenga might need some of that big machine vodka that we talked about earlier in the night.
Yeah, definitely a tough break there. Pretty much all race has been tough for the 07 of Ben Izenga. Just, having a hard, rough race there, and just got squirrely. It's so easy to do coming out of the corner. The back end just swept around, and wrong place at the wrong time there for 77 to Dave Harvey.
So caution flag is back out. We'll jump back to live scenes because things have changed up at the front of the field. You see Jason Gracias. Did not pit under this caution flag. JT Poole and basically everyone on back decided to come down. So Jason Gracias kind of a lone duck up there at the front of the field, currently sitting on about 40 lap old tires. JT Poole, though, came down, used a fresh set of tires, and presumably will be able to blow on by Jason Gracias. We have seen the tires do matter here tonight, but Gracias is saving an extra set for later.
Yeah, and I know Gracias is really, really good at saving his tires, so he's going to have to make these things run. I'm sure he's sitting there and gambling on getting another caution later on in this race. We've seen about 50 lap old tires and how they wear, so right now he's on 39 lap old tires, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this lead. And also, don't forget, he also has a damaged car. He got into an incident earlier on in the race, so I'm interested to see how well the one can stick up towards the front of the field, if he's going to drop back and how far back he does drop. But I'm sure he's gambling on at least another caution before we end tonight's race.
Yeah, we have just under 50 laps to go, and Bob, if we can get things going and kind of click these laps off one by one, it'll go by in a hurry here on this short track. One of the more unique racetracks, like we mentioned earlier in the show. Of course, the sun has now set. The racetrack will be cooling off, which means lap times should be heating up, but a lot of these cars now have some damage in some regard. 26 of JT Poole looks like he's got one of the cleaner machines out there. Going to try and take this lead from Jason Gracias. Gracias, on the other hand, 40-lap old tires. Got to watch out for wheel spin here as the green flag waves. We're back racing here at Nashville.
Yeah, no wheel spin there for the one of Gracias. He gets a great launch heading off into turn number 1. Right on his back bumper, though, is that 26 of JT Poole. We'll see here as the field flies by. It looks like the 50 of Bill Edwards might have just missed the wall a little bit coming out of the corner, but right now it's still Jason Gracias leading the first lap after the restart.
Keith Carbaugh in the number 29 machine has gone around on the backstretch. We stay green flag. Carbaugh is on the lead lap. Meanwhile, look at this coming down the backstretch. Some crazy action. Gracias still trying to hold on to the race lead. John Cannizzaro says, you know what, I might try to take this 3 wide as Poole gets wicked loose coming out of turn number 4. That will allow John Cannizzaro Jr., a points leader, to get to his high side, but Gracias has to pick a lane here. He can't block 2 lanes at once, or can he, as he dives to the inside off into turn number 3.
Man, a gutsy move there by the 12 of Cannizzaro, looking to take the lead, heading off towards the inside of Gracias. They're side by side going off into turn number 1, but Gracias shuts the door at least momentarily, and now they're side by side again down the back straightaway, and oh, contact as everyone looks to be keeping it straight. And as I say that, JT Poole sideways into the wall, and the yellow flag comes out.
That wreck happened basically halfway down the backstretch, and it took all the way until turn number 3 to come to fruition. But JT Poole, one of the faster drivers that we've had here tonight. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened here. This was some wicked hard racing here, Bob. We still have about 40 laps to go. Caution flag, I've lost count. And I just think maybe JT Poole got loose. Maybe he got into the back of Jason Gracias a little bit. Kept kind of getting loose. You see him inside the car. You can actually see inside that front windshield trying to save it, trying to save it, trying to save it. He's wheeling it. He's wheeling it. He's drifting it now. Still drifting it. Back end's coming around. He's trying to save it. He's trying to save it. But unfortunately, just a little bit too little too late. Gets up, just kisses the outside wall there. And just as I was saying, the JT Poole had one of the cleaner cars out there on the racetrack. He has a excursion with the outside wall. That's probably the commentator's curse there, Bum.
Yeah, he just wanted to be like all the other cars out there, Peter. Just got a little bit of damage on the right rear. Nothing too bad. It's not going to affect anything too much. It's not like this is a really aero-dependent racetrack, but we'll see here on this this replay as things just got a little tight. Had to check up a bit, check up, and now he's sideways and just drifting through the corner. Couldn't quite get it saved. Nailed the right rear and the right front in the wall, and the rest is history.
Yeah, you could see that whole accident actually started because there was contact between the back end of the number 1 of Gracias and JT Poole. So Poole actually came up and ran into the back of Gracias, which unnerved his car, and it was kind of on from there. That kind of is indicative of the iRacing physics. They did say that they were working on netcode, but I don't think you can take the iRacing out of iRacing, the iRacing netcode at least out of iRacing. Not sure if that would have happened had that particular situation happened in real life, but JT's going to come back down and get some more damage repaired on his number 26, definitely setting him back here tonight. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Jason Gracias on those old tires still leading, then John Cannizzaro, Bill Edwards, who did a stellar job of avoiding JT Poole in all that melee. The 97, Mike Floppy Tellier back there in 4th. Jason Freeman rounding out our current top 5. Jamar Dumas, haven't really talked about Jamar a whole lot here tonight, but putting together a solid run there in 6th. Then Stephen Doziak Jr. 7th, John Eckhart the 4th, 8th, David Harvey, and look who's inside of the top 10. That'd be Garrett Gleason himself. And Bob, if Garrett can finish right there, he doesn't have I don't think he's got a scratch on that number 7 machine. I think we've seen him involved in maybe one scuffle here tonight, but so far looking all good for the number 7 Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 scuffles all night long, but Garrett is one of those drivers where he is so consistent with his car. He keeps it clean, he brings it home fairly scratch-free for the most part in these races. So a good run there for Garrett tonight.
Pace car heads down onto pit lane. Green flag in the flagman's hand. We're back racing. The flagman didn't decide to wave the flag until they were already off into turn number 1. He's must be sleeping here tonight. Jason Gracias, your race leader on those old tires. John Cannizzaro in second, then Tellier and Bill Edwards. Edwards, of course, started on the front row here tonight in the Silent Syndicate Racing presented event. They're presenting the Race Your Face Off 156, and you know, one thing about these cars here tonight, we got so many cars that look like modifies. Bob, I think they kind of took the Race Your Face Off kind of literally with the front bumper, as John Cannizzaro Jr. looking for the race lead.
Yeah, Cannizzaro is going to clear Gracias coming out of turn number 4 here, and that opens the door for the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier as well. He's going to slide up and just jump off in front of the one of Gracias, and Gracias now, those old tires really starting to show. 52 now, about to be 53 laps on that set of tires, where everyone else he's racing has 17. So, you know, the old tires really kind of putting him at a disadvantage out there on the track.
Edwards slides by. Jason Freeman slides by. So Jason Gracias now back to 5th. Steven Dosiak Jr., the next car, back behind him. Jamar Dumas back there. Then David Harvey. Harvey, who was our points leader after leaving Bristol about a month ago, unfortunately has had a streak of bad luck here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Darlington did not go his way. And then, of course, going to Talladega, things not exactly going to plan for Harvey. Didn't go too bad, finishing in 6th, but then last week at Kansas finishing in 20th. So he slid back to about the 6th spot in points. JT Poole, on the other hand, comes into tonight's 2nd place in points, trying to get around him. Every point here, Bob, is important, and JT gonna slide on by. Power move off in turn number 1.
Yeah, really nice move getting down to the inside of the 77 of Harvey. And, you know, Peter, like we were saying, he won stage 1, picked up those 8 bonus points. I believe he got some stage points on the 2nd stage as well. So, you know, you always have to be points leaking in this race, especially as the season rolls on. And JT Poole just kind of getting it done and getting everything he needs to do to maximize points all season long.
Here's a good battle. This is the battle right now for 2nd. Bill Edwards getting on by Mike Floppy Tellier. So Edwards up to 2nd. That's exactly where he started here tonight. Here we are on board with the driver of the number 50 machine going off into turn number 1. Watch the hand movements. We've seen a lot of pace out of the Silent Syndicate Racing Chevy Camaro here tonight. Can he run down our points leader, John Cannizzaro? And potentially, if Edwards can get this win, it would be for him his first win of the season. Currently 9th spot in points, drives on by, makes it look easy. Now with 29 laps to go, we do have the possibility of going to overtime here in the Total Nonstop Racing Bagcraft Cornhole Grand National Series. We have a couple attempts at a green-white checker here, but for Bill Edwards, he doesn't want to see those green-white checkers. He just wants to set sail here as the lap count winds down.
Yeah, definitely. And Bill Edwards, the winner here when the Stay Tuned Sports Monday Night Thunder Truck Series came here to the Nashville Fairgrounds over the winter break. So Edwards, no stranger to victory lane here at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and he's looking to continue where he left off from that race.
Yeah, that race was an interesting one, to say the least, here on 3 Wide TV. Jason Freeman, Mike Floppy Tellier going toe-to-toe. JT Poole back behind them, starting to creep back into the picture. Came down, got fresh tires, I think. Remember, he was involved in that last accident. Got the fresh tires, might have used his last set, and he's using them to his advantage as he's now back up into the top 5. Freeman big time loose coming out of turn number 2, and that's going to give JT Poole a run to his outside, but he's blocked by Mike Floppy Tellier. We're hearing Ben Izenga has come down pit road, might be calling it a night. James Arello recently called it a night as well. As, JT pulls around again, caution flag waves.
Man, just again got sideways there. Those bumps, pardon me, coming out of turn number 2 like that are going to be super treacherous for these cars. And you see he's down there right below those white dash lines, and you saw the car almost bunny hop there coming out of the corner, and that really sets off the balance and makes it so easy to spin out, especially under the throttle there coming out of the corner.
He did exactly what happened earlier to Kyle Zimmer when he got down below that yellow line, Bob, trying to maybe get a little bit too greedy, but that just unnerved that 26 machine. You see it just going around. Nothing he could do. Snapped on him in such a hurry. Didn't hit the wall, much like what happened to Kyle Zimmer earlier. He was able to keep it off the wall, but does bring out the caution flag. Now, interesting things happening on the racetrack as we are back live. Our front 4, Edwards, Cannizzaro, Doziak, and JT Poole, all staying out. Back behind them, Mike Floppy Tellier, he just came down pit road as you see Kevin Stone in the Famucci wear number 14 pick up the Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award under this caution flag. But Tellier came down pit road, put on a fresh set of tires. So he's got fresh tires here for a 22 lap, well, probably about a 20 lap sprint to the end. I like that call, Bob.
Yeah, definitely. I think that 20 laps is a really, really good amount of laps to get on the most out of your fresh tires. And all the guys who stayed out right now, JT Poole on 20 lap tires, and the 3 in front of him, Edwards, Cannizzaro, and Dosiak, all on 31 lap old tires. So, you know, I really think the guys like Floppy and everyone else further back in the pack might have a better opportunity and a better chance at winning if this race stays green. A caution could totally throw this whole strategy out the window.
It definitely could. I completely agree that if you're Tellier or even drivers like Jason Freeman, Jason Gracias back there, you want this race to go green. You want that fresh set of tires to be the difference as the lap count winds down. But if you're Bill Edwards, you might want another caution flag here in a hurry. We'll have to wait and see. Just now looking at the scoring pylon, Kevin Stone is still the first car 1 or more laps down in the Lucky Dog spot. Just needs one more caution to get the Famucci wear number 14 back on the lead lap. Currently running in the 14th position in the number 14 machine, so calling his own number at the moment. He'll be starting tail end of the longest line. There goes Keith Carbaugh, who's on the lead lap in the number 29 machine. Saw him have a moment. Did not bring out a caution flag, however. Not sure what the circumstances surrounding that particular issue was. Might be similar to what we just saw. But Bob, 19 lap shootout. Pace car lights are off. Going to be fun to see if these drivers on the older tires can hold off the hard charging fresh ones.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. The first 2 rows all have old tires. The first car with fresh tires is that black and green machine of Mike Floppy Tellier. The green flag is out. We're back racing Bill Edwards. Another great jump. And now they're side by side, JT Poole and John Cannizzaro, teammates, as they come down the back straightaway.
JT Poole has fresher tires than Bill Edwards. Going to use the slightly fresher tires. Not as fresh tires as Jason Freeman. Jason Freeman in the Mason-Dixon Racing number 20, who's had a few issues here tonight at the racetrack. He's trying to look for third, almost contact between the 20 and the 12. Meanwhile, JT Poole starting to close in on Bill Edwards as they start to get a little bit hairy, a little bit further back in the back. Looks like the 45 and the 17 make contact. Tristan Thuggy Maher and John Eckhart, the 4th go around. Caution flag waves here with 17 to go.
And one of those drivers that just has terrible luck this season is the 17 of Tristan Maher. Had some issues changing lanes at Talladega while leading on the restart, and just involved in cautions and accidents. Looks like he got into the 28 of Jamar Dumas, and unfortunately the 45 of John Eckhart. Just a innocent bystander there as the calamity kind of happens all around him.
So we'll get one more look at this. There was contact even the half lap before the caution flag finally did come out. And it looked like the number 1 made contact, but then Tristan Maher Hard to see from that end. There is contact with the 77. John Eckhart, the fourth, coming in there. Let's get another ride on board with John Eckhart, the fourth. There, man, these drivers really going for it, Bob. You can see just how sideways they are, not giving anyone any room. As Jamar Dumas got really pushed up the racetrack. I think that's who Tristan Thuggy Maher made initial contact with, and unfortunately for the 45, getting a good lick there with the number 17 of Maher.
Yeah, the front end just crunched up like a Klondike bar that's forgotten in the back of the freezer there, and just a tough break, really nowhere for the 45 machine to go. And, we'll re-rack and do it again with probably a 13 or 14 lap shootout here.
Back-to-back Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Awards for the number 14 of Kevin Stone. Puts him back onto the lead lap as he has, out of all that mess, somehow picked up 2 spots since we last checked in with him. John Eckhart, the fourth, is now the only driver on the racetrack 1 or more laps down, but he sits on pit road getting damage repaired. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, pace car lights continue to twinkle. Bill Edwards in the Silent Syndicate Racing Machine is your race leader. JT Poole in second. Just waiting to see if those lights stay on. They do indeed. So we're looking at probably a 12 or so lap shootout. And Bob, we got Bill Edwards, our race leader, pitted on lap 104. Got tires on lap 104. Then JT Poole, we think he pitted on lap 115 to take tires. So he's got 11 lap pressure tires than Bill. Then back behind him, Jason Freeman, who pitted on lap number 133. So he's got 18 lap pressure tires than JT Poole. And about 30 lap pressure tires than Bill Edwards. So Edwards and Poole, they're going to have their work cut out for him here on this restart.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting with the different tire strategies as to what exactly is going to happen. If I'm Bill Edwards, I'm just keeping my eyes straight, ignoring my mirror, and just kind of keeping my head down and running as many fast laps in a row as I can, and just kind of letting it see what happens, block as much of the runs that come. But, Bill Edwards right now, older tires, this is going to be a tough one for him to hold on. And, hopefully he is able to hold on and get the S2R machine in victory lane after sponsoring tonight's race. But, we'll see here as the pace car is off.
Pace car is off again, getting set to go racing. 12 more laps to go. Edwards able to clear JT Poole before they get to turn number 1, but John Cannizzaro Jr., what can he do in the yellow Stay Tuned Sports machine as they're starting to stack him up a little bit further back? Your points leader there in the Stay Tuned Sports Ford Mustang shuffle to the high side. Here comes Jason Graphix. He's on fresher tires as well in comparison to Cannizzaro Jr. Jason Freeman in the number 20, not yet doing anything with JT Poole as we're coming to 10 laps to go this time.
Some good side-by-side action here between the 97 and the 12. We saw them get together a couple of times in this race already. Everything clean here as the 12 got a little sideways coming out of 4, but up here at the front, JT Poole has a little bit of contact there between he and the 20 of Jason Freeman down the back straightaway.
Yeah, these drivers trying to get all they can get. Bill Edwards slideways off into turn number 3. He's got a little bit of a gap now on JT Poole. Here comes Jason Freeman on the fresher tires. Freshest tires inside the top 3. The Mason-Dixon Racing number 20 Chevy Camaro diving down on the inside. Poole might have caught the wall there. Coming down the backstretch. And Freeman, can he clear Poole in turn number 3 and 4? Yes, he can. He's going to slide up into second. Jason Graphix had a look to the inside of JT Poole, not able to do anything with it, as Poole now starting to struggle on the older tires. Tellier putting pressure on the back of the number 1 of Graphix, but the battle for the race lead is going to be red hot here in a second, Bob. I can feel it. Bill Edwards, 29 lap older tires than Jason Freeman behind him. Fresher tires do the talking here at Nashville Fairgrounds a lot of the time. Freeman trying to set him up here as they head down the backstretch.
Here comes Jason Freeman. He'll take a peek to the inside as they head off into turn number 3, side by side through 3 and 4. And up out of turn number 4, we have a new leader, Jason Freeman. Will lead this one with 6 laps remaining, Peter.
And I think with all the different leaders we've had here tonight, Bob, I don't think Jason Freeman has led a lap until now in the Mason-Dixon Racing number 20 machine. I could be wrong, but that number 20, got fresh tires, got clean air on the nose, is checking out. Meanwhile, back behind him, Jason Gracias trying to get around the number 50 of Bill Edwards, going to try and set him up. He saw what Jason Freeman did a couple of laps ago. Looks to the inside here in turn number 3 and 4. We're coming to 4 laps to go. JT Poole is riding there in 4th, and Mike Floppy Tellier, a little bit of a breakaway up inside the top 5. Meanwhile, your points leader, John Cannizzaro Jr., holding up David Harvey back behind him. Still going to be a decent points-paying night for John Cannizzaro Jr. as we look back in this battle inside the top 5. Jason Gracias trying to take away second, Bob. There's action all over this racetrack as we have 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Peter, if I'm Jason Freeman right now, I am so thankful for the 1 and the 50 battling it out side by side. But as I say that, Jason Gracias gets around Bill Edwards, and now it's time for the Jason and Jason show. 2 laps to go. Jason Freeman, Jason Gracias, who's going to get this one?
Jason Freeman started this race on the inside of row number 2. Jason Gracias started this race on the outside of row number 2. Started 3rd and 4th, now running 1st and 2nd as we're coming now to the white flag. If they can work their way through turn number 3 and 4 without seeing a caution flag, we won't have any green-white checkers here. Gracias is closing in just a little bit on Freeman. Might we see a bump and run here, Bob? White flag in the air.
We could, as they drive down the backstretch for one final time. This is the opportunity for Jason Gracias. If he can get to it, he can't. Jason Freeman now just has to be smooth coming out of turn number 4. Jason Freeman is going to win the Race Your Face Off 156 presented by S2R.
Then something happened on the final lap to JT Poole, relegates him to a 12th place finish. We'll see exactly what happened. There's, oh my goodness, Tristan Thuggy Maher going around, and Jason Freeman, our race winner, now going around here in turn number 3 and 4. Chaos on the racetrack. And now more bumping and banging as and Doziak has bulldoziacked into the tire wall. That's going to be the new term. Bulldoziacked into the wall is oh boy. Here tonight, what a crazy Race Your Face Off 156 as Jason Freeman burns it down here on the front stretch, and they're taking each other's face off right now. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, good dueling burnouts there for the 20 of Freeman and 55 of Steven Doziak. And earlier there, it looked like Doziak was just trying to give a little Mike Floppy Tellier tribute from the Darlington race where Tellier decided he wanted to visit some of those barrels. But a good win overall there for the 20 of Freeman. Lots more replays to check out as well as to what exactly happened there. Looks like in the driver chat, Garrett Gleason had a bit of an issue into the corner as well. So, we'll see what happened there. But Jason Freeman gets the win in tonight's race.
Yeah, going to be fun to talk to tonight's top 3 finishers, Jason Freeman, Jason Gracias, and Bill Edwards, and see what they have to say, because it was not easy at the end of the night. Let's see if we can figure out, though, let's go back and get the 3-wide TV replay and see if we can figure out what happened here to JT Poole. This is the white flag lap. Got Mike Floppy Tellier back behind him. Tellier going off into turn number 3 and 4. They make contact there, and JT ends up in the outside wall. Meanwhile, all these drivers back here racing for position. Garrett Gleason going off into turn number 3 and 4. And Harvey has a moment right there. And unfortunately, JT Poole, oh man. Yeah, and Dave Harvey comes back up the racetrack. But I think Gleason had made it to the line in time. But a tough break there for JT Poole. So fast all night long. It was a wild strategy game, Bob. It really was. It was going to be tough to call and how it all worked out, but it worked out for Jason Freeman and his Mason-Dixon racing machine.
Yeah, that's for sure. Plenty of different tire strategies. Do you stay out? Do you pit? How old are some of these tires? Just a really entertaining race overall. And, this race kind of had everything. A lot of different pit strategies and tire strategies. So this was definitely a fun one for sure.
Let's see if we can get some of these drivers into the 3-wide TV booth for some post-race interviews and get to see what they have to say. And Bob, why don't you take it away with tonight's third place finisher driver of the number 50 machine? He's as old as dirt himself, Bill Edwards.
Yeah, I'm down here with our third place finisher, Bill Edwards, and Bill, one heck of a race. Had a little bit older tires than the rest of the field, and what was it like just trying to hold everyone off as much as you can with those old tires?
My tire wear was pretty even. It wasn't going too badly for tires, so my thought process with about, I don't know, there's like 40 some to go. I figured I'd go get tires, and then whatever I had then, I'm just gonna have it to the end. And yeah, those guys, they picked a good time to go get tires. I think if I would have had another 15 laps, I might have been able to run them back down, honestly, because I was able to stay with them in the corners. I just had to manage the tires a little bit better. But that was, all in all, it was a fun race. Led a lot of laps. Had a strong run. So it's a bit of a bummer that I couldn't finish it out at the end, but I'll take third. That's still, I think, my best finish this year. So.
Well, that was a lot of fun watching you try to track down Jason there as the race was winding down. It looked like you were able to just get right to his bumper. I don't know if you were braking later or just trying to diamond the corner or what, but it looked like you were just right there as those laps were ticking off. Yeah, no,
it was starting to turn back around. Those guys were driving really hard. I know Freeman kind of brushed the wall a little bit. That could have, I was assuming or hoping every time I do that, I always have a junk car. So I was hoping maybe those two would get to battle it a little bit, but it is what it is. Either way, it was a strong run. One of my favorite tracks, so I'll take it. Third's all right.
Well, looking next week, the race heads off to Dover International Speedway. What are your thoughts about Dover?
Oh, I'm ready for it. That's I think that's another S2R sponsored race, if I remember correctly. One of my favorite tracks. Hopefully we put up a strong showing. I've done well there in the past. Got to get this monkey off my back and get me a win this year, though.
That's for sure. Well, Bill, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Oh, yeah. You guys up in the booth, 3 wide for broadcasting. Everybody here at TNR. All the administrators, there was some contention out there on the race tonight, so all those administrators are going to have a tough job for the next couple hours probably. I got to say hi to my mom, say hi to my teammates, Ben and James. They didn't have the finish they wanted, but it's always good having them on the team and kicking ideas around. So I got to give a shout out to the 20 and Jason Gracias. They pulled it off, so I'll give it to them.
Awesome. Well, Bill, congratulations on the third place finish, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week at Dover.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, Bill Edwards, our third place finisher, and I believe Peter is now caught up with our second place finisher, Jason Gracias.
Yeah, I'm down here with Jason Gracias, tonight's runner-up, the number 1 Bagcraft machine. And Jason, it was a topsy-turvy race for a lot of people here tonight. Up and down the scoring pylon, damage on the number 1 machine at times, and some good strategy calls, though, right at the end. It really had us on our toes with people pitting and not pitting, and then not pitting some more, and then pitting some more. You couldn't really figure it out until the checkered flag fell, but a good run for you here tonight.
Yeah, obviously this race isn't the way I wanted it to go. I tried to play some strategy and pit before the end of stage 2, kind of like a road course play, and then stay out when the stage broke. But I have no idea what happened on that restart. I was going straight. The next thing you know, I got hit. Then I got stuck in the back. And then coming off 2, it was just a traffic jam. My horn wasn't working, so unfortunately I ran into somebody, and that sent me into the inside wall. Gave me about 2 minutes of damage. And then from there, every time I could, I just went to pit road and tried to fix as much damage as I could. And then at the end, strategically, I saved the set. It was going to work in my favor. Maybe if there was like 10 more laps. I was down some horsepower. I still had some damage to repair, but I wasn't going to turn Freeman. I mean, I'm not turning a teammate and a friend. So congrats to him. He drove a good race. He had a similar day as to what I had. So all in all, I guess it worked out for these MDR cars one too.
A really good run and a good call to keep those tires till late. You know, a lot of clean running in the early running. It seemed like as the race went on, definitely action heated up out there on the racetrack. How was it like managing that from behind the wheel? Because I know those when that happens in these races, it can be very difficult to kind of find your own space out there on the racetrack.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the damage I had on my car, I wouldn't have driven like Ryan Newman the last 50 laps and put my car into spaces where people couldn't pass me. I don't like to race that way, but unfortunately, that was the hand I was dealt, and that's the way I raced. I think I got JT squirrely one time by accident, so I apologize to JT. That wasn't intentional, but just it's a short track, you know. If you're dealt a clean car, you try to take advantage of it. Clean air is king. If you're dealt a damaged car, become Ryan Newman. That's my word of advice to everybody.
Well, you heard it here. Become No Neck Newman if you have to. But Jason, great run here. Next race, Dover, which I know a lot of people look forward to. What are your thoughts about Dover? And then let's hear them shout-outs.
I love Dover. Dover doesn't love me, so we'll see what happens. You know, I am always the bridesmaid there, never the bride. So hopefully I'm the bride next time, you know. But we'll see. But, you know, thanks to Bagcraft for coming on board and sponsoring TNR this season. It really helps offset the cost, having a great sponsor like them on board. If you guys need any cornhole gear, check out bagcraftcornhole.com. Pick up a t-shirt, pick up a hoodie, pick up a hat, pick up a sticker, buy everything you can. You know, support people who support us. Thanks to Max Graphics and Chris Darling for the paint schemes, always keeping me look dapper and fresh. Thanks to Garrett for the platform, putting the league together. Thanks to 3Y TV for the sponsorship. Polyhedral Cathedral for the Lucky Dog Award. And shout out to MDR 1-2. Congrats, Jason Freeman. You know, first one in a long time. Hopefully that's more to come.
Well, Jason, great run for you. You both started on row number 2 here tonight and coming up just a little bit short. We'll see you at Dover next week.
Sounds good. See you guys.
All right, so that's going to do it with our post-race interview with driver of the number 1 machine, Jason Gracias, and I believe that Bob has caught up with our race winner, Jason Freeman, here tonight of the Mason-Dixon Racing Cornhole Machine.
Yeah, down here in Victory Lane with the 20 of Jason Freeman. And Jason, first of all, congratulations on the win. Looked like fresher tires really were the difference out there.
Yeah, I got lucky there, saved a set towards the end, and got that last caution. I was debating if it was worth taking them and trying to come back up through, but I think enough guys went in with me that it worked out. And I think track position was a little bit better than tires, but there wasn't that many guys left in the lead lap, so it ended up working out.
Yeah, and it looked to me when you wound up coming out of the pits, there were only 4 or 5 guys out there in front of you, and 4 of them had much older tires. So that I'm sure was a pretty big advantage for you. Take me through those last couple of laps. First of all, chasing down and getting around Bill Edwards, but then you had your teammate Jason Gracias just right on your back bumper for probably the last 10 laps or so of the race, and he definitely gave you your money's worth, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had an up and down race there. I ran decent at the beginning, and I stayed out early trying to save a set of tires, and then I got running behind the 90. I let the 97 go because I thought he was going to wreck me, dive bombing everybody like he was, and he went by me and he was a little bit slow in front of me, and I got in the back of him twice just to, hey, I'm here, and then he wrecked Canizaro the next turn, and I went down to the bottom of the apron and spun myself out, actually, and got some damage. But I guess you race around some of those squirrels, you get your nuts busted once in a while. But, so game up, worked out, got my damage fixed on 2 different cautions there, and I had some tires at the end and able to come back up through.
Well, you got the win, and that's all that matters. Looking next week now for Dover, what are your thoughts heading to the Monster Mile next week?
I'm not very good there. I've never been very good there, but I know Gracias is usually good there, and teammates, so maybe you can throw me a few pointers next week and see what we can do.
Well, Jason, before I let you go, I'm sure you have some shout-outs for us, so let's hear them.
First off, got to shout out a fellow driver. I think he wrecked half the field tonight, so I was only probably a 5th place car, and so that helped out some there. Got to give a shout out to Bagcraft for running the league. Go check out your gear and hit them up. And they got a bunch of cool shirts and sweatshirts and hats and different things. Shout out to Garrett Gleason for putting the league on. Jason Gracias is one of the other guys I know. He's I think season admin here. And then Justin White up in the booth. All the guys on our team there, it's me, Gracias, and Thuggy Mayer, Tristan. We also got Keith Carball. He's a buddy of mine, just started this past winter. I actually gave him my old computer and wheel. And Jason Shu, he wasn't at the race tonight, but we're a mixture of skill levels, but we all try to help each other out and boost each other along.
Awesome. Well, Jason, congratulations on the win, and looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Dover.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate you guys up in the booth, you and Peter, and spending your time doing this for us.
Oh, much appreciated. Well, Jason Freeman, our winner tonight of the Race Your Face Off 156 presented by S2R. And, Peter, that was quite an exciting race out there for us tonight.
Oh, it definitely was an exciting race. Had us on our toes, and we couldn't really figure out which strategy was going to work out till the very end. Jason Freeman taking home the win here tonight. Let's see, though, if we can bring up the final race results for everyone back at home, because, well, I don't know if we will be able to. Looks like a good old iRacing update might have messed with the graphics. Let's see if it can come up. And kind of does, folks. Don't even look at the banner at the top of the screen. Jason Freeman takes home the win. Jason Gracias, his teammate who started alongside him on row number 2, going to come home in second. Bill Edwards going to finish in third. Silent Syndicate Racing bringing you tonight's race and finishing on the podium. Mike Tellier finishing in 4th. John Canizaro Jr. in 5th. Tristan Maher 6th. Jamar Dumas and Kevin Stone 7th and 8th. David Harvey 9th. And Stephen Doziak Jr. running at our top 10.
In 11th place, Garrett Gleason, a great run for him tonight. JT Poole in 12th. John Eckert, the 4th in 13th. Keith Carball, 14th. Ben Izinga, 15th out of the race. James Lorello in 16th. 17th, Brady Todd. Vinny Valvano in 18th. Kyle Zimmer, 19th. And rounding out the field tonight is J.D. Laird.
Yeah, J.D. Laird finishing in 20th. Definitely not the night he was hoping for here at this racetrack. Well, folks, that is going to do it for us here on 3Y TV and Total Nonstop Racing Bagcraft Cornhole Grand National Series. Make sure to join us next week, same time, same place, 8:05 Eastern is when we go live, 5 minutes before qualifying, and we will be at the Monster Mile for race number 8 of the championship. I love the Monster Mile. I love racing there. I love broadcasting it, Bob. It's going to be a great race. One of those racetracks that you have to race, much like you did this one here tonight, although it seemed like this one had a couple of other things coming out to grab onto these drivers, but the Monster Mile is going to be a tricky one as well.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite race tracks to drive on the circuit. Also, one of my my hometown tracks between that and Pocono. So, one of my favorite race tracks next week. Looking forward to being up here in the broadcast booth to call it with you, and it's going to be a fun one for sure.
All right, folks. Until we meet again here on 3Y TV, make sure you stay safe and all that good stuff. And have a good night. We shall see ya.